Hello and welcome. I'm a hotel AI expert, and it's a pleasure to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to this online learning journey. You know, in the world of hotel operations, some of the biggest risks and costs are hiding in the most unexpected places. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of them, the chemical closet. Let's get started. So, here's our roadmap for the next few minutes. We'll start by talking about why that closet is such a high-stakes area. Then we'll build our foundation with something called safety data sheets. After that, we'll get into smart dilution, mastering inventory, and then the really interesting part, finding the hidden leaks using data. And finally, we'll tie it all together with a new way of thinking, shifting from just managing costs to taking full control. Let's dive right in. First up, the high-stakes chemical closet. I want you to stop thinking of it as just a storage space. It's so much more than that. As a future leader in this industry, you've got to see it for what it really is, a central hub that directly impacts the safety of your staff, the satisfaction of your guests, and of course, your bottom line. So let me ask you a question. When you think about risk in a hotel, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Maybe the kitchen? Or handling cash at the front desk? Security? And yeah, those are all valid. But there's another area, one that's often overlooked. Believe it or not, it's the chemical closet. This one small room has connections to everything: staff safety, guest health, environmental rules, and major operational costs. If you get this part wrong, the ripple effects can be felt across the entire hotel. The risks here really break down into 4 key areas. Number 1, and this is the most important, is the safety of your staff. Mishandling these products can cause serious injuries. That risk extends to guest safety too, because using chemicals incorrectly can leave behind harmful residues. Then you've got environmental compliance. There are very strict regulations you have to follow. And finally, mismanagement hits your wallet directly through waste and inefficiency. It's a huge operational cost. Okay, so how do we start to manage all of this risk? Well, it all begins with one foundational tool. That brings us to our next section, safety data sheets. I want you to think of these as the absolute, non-negotiable bedrock of chemical safety. So what exactly is a safety data sheet, or an SDS? The easiest way to think about it is like an instruction manual for every single chemical in that closet. It tells you what the hazards are, how to handle it safely, what protective gear, or PPE, you need to wear, and exactly what to do if something goes wrong. This is not just a piece of paper. It is your team's frontline defense. Putting this into practice requires a simple but very strict 4-step protocol. First, you have to gather an up-to-date SDS for every single product, no exceptions. Second, organize them all in one central spot. Third, make them accessible 24/7. That means a physical binder and a digital copy. And fourth, you have to train your team and train them relentlessly on where to find these sheets and how to understand them. This isn't optional. It's a fundamental responsibility of leadership. All right, with our safety foundation firmly in place, now we can layer in some technology to make things even safer and way more efficient. That brings us to section 3, smart dilution. Just look at the difference between the old way and the smart way. Manually mixing chemicals is just a recipe for problems. It puts staff at high risk of exposure to concentrates, it creates a ton of waste, and honestly, the results are all over the place. On the other hand, an automated dilution system minimizes exposure, gives you the precise amount you need, and guarantees a safe, effective mix every single time. It's a win on every level: safety, quality, and cost. So, we've tackled safety and dilution. Now it's time to actually master the stock itself. This is all about graduating from just counting bottles to having real strategic control over your inventory. And the essential tool for this is an inventory management system, or IMS. This is so much more than a simple stock take. A proper IMS allows you to track exactly what's being used in real time, which helps you reduce losses from what we call shrinkage, product that just disappears due to waste, errors, or even theft. It also helps you automate reordering, so you never get caught without what you need. Setting up a good IMS really boils down to 4 basic things. 1, every single item gets its own unique stock code. 2, every item has a specific, designated spot on the shelf. 3, you define your par levels. That's the minimum you need on hand before you reorder and the maximum you want to keep from overstocking. And 4, every movement in or out is tracked digitally. And now we get to the payoff. This is where it all comes together. With all these systems in place,
your SDS for safety, your dilution system for consistency, and your IMS for tracking, we can finally start doing some really powerful data analysis. This is how you find the hidden leaks in your operation.
The whole analysis comes down to comparing just two numbers. The first is your theoretical consumption. This is the amount of a chemical you should have used based on your dilution rates and how many rooms were cleaned. The second number is your actual consumption. This is what your inventory system says was actually taken from the stock. The gap between those two numbers, well, that's where you find the problems.
Let's take an example. Say your theoretical usage for bathroom cleaner last month was 100 liters, but when you look at your IMS data, it shows 145 liters were actually used. That 45-liter gap, what we call the variance, is a massive red flag. As a manager, that's your signal to start asking some serious questions. So what could that variance be telling you? Well, it could mean your team isn't following the automated dilution procedures. Or maybe they're using the wrong product for the wrong task. It might even point to a bigger gap in your staff training. And of course, it could indicate shrinkage, theft, or just misplacement. By spotting that variance, you can pinpoint the real root cause and actually fix it. And this brings us to our final section, which is really about a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about moving your thinking from cost to control. This is about elevating how you see this entire part of your hotel operation.
If you only remember one thing from our time together today, please make it this. You have to treat your chemical inventory with the exact same rigor that you treat cash. Every bottle represents a cost, a safety risk, and a critical tool for delivering the guest experience. It demands that level of control.
So I'll leave you with this question. When you walk into your hotel tomorrow, are you going to see that chemical closet as a ticking liability waiting to cause problems? Or are you going to see it as a strategic asset? One that you can control to build a safer, more efficient, and more profitable operation. The systems we've talked about are here. The choice is yours.